and recording now too. So hopefully we will upload this past episode on YouTube. This is going to be somebody going to cry. Going to be great. Somebody's going to cry. Yeah, maybe not. It's kind of open to interpretation. We'll see when we get to the end. Guys, we'd like to start the format off by giving some folks a little bit of time here. What we would like to do is give people an opportunity to come in these early parts of the show. We're going to allow you between 2 and 3 minutes, and we're going to let you voice your opinion on the Leiper debate. Is a Leiper a hatch? Now, guys, we appreciate each and every one of you from the bottom of our hearts, but we have to adhere to time constraints. We're moving forward in the show format and everything, and so, 2 or 3 minutes in the box. When your time is up, you're going to have to give up the box, let someone else come in, so on and so forth. And, like I said, use your time wisely. We have to stick to constraints. We want to give a lot of people an opportunity to come in here and speak. We're going to do this for roughly probably the first hour, give or take how things go. So we've got enough time. We can get into the actual history of Mr. John Leiper himself. We'll get into some of his personal background and everything. And we will get into the fowl, of course, and their origin and what they may or may not have been. I know guys that say they're not hatch, and I know guys that use them as a cross as hatch. There you go, Uncle Skunkle. Trigger says, it is not a hatch. Nothing hatch made the Leiper. That's a strong conviction. First question is, when was the first Leiper ever heard of? Around the early 1900s, around the 20s, I believe, but I'm not positive. Leiper was breeding gamefowl. He met hatch in the early 1900s, and so, both names didn't get famous. Hatch didn't become really renowned until much later. And of course, Hatch was quite a bit older than Mr. Leiper himself. And Hatch died. And I believe Hatch died in the 1930s. I'd like to clear that up. Sanford. Hatch, game, foul, born, and death. That's not going to tell me anything. Pretty certain Mr. Hatch died in the 20s. Might have been the 30s, but I was pretty certain he died in the 20s.
Yeah, Hatch was quite a bit older than Jack Leiper.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up there, Birds of Paradise? Good to see you in here. Crappie says, not a hatch. Made from Irish and American fowl. Very close. Very close. Circle A says, he's always thought of Leipers as a version of said hatch chicken with a very similar makeup with a twist. It's a pretty interesting perspective. Pretty awesome to see us just kicking this show off, guys, and we got 70 viewers in here. This is amazing. It's great. We're really happy to see you guys turn out. We're going to get the ball rolling here very soon. We're going to get some guys coming in here as soon as Chili gets himself situated, and we will get the ball rolling.
All right. Whenever you're ready, son, let's fire up.
We're ready. We're ready. So the first thing we will do is we're gonna bring some of you guys in here. So we're gonna try to keep things, level, and we're gonna give you the big screen just like we've done with Jay Chili here and so on, and we're gonna give you guys your moment to speak out. What you say there, Mr. Chili?
What's up, buddy? So here's what we're going to do, guys. We are going to keep a tally on is a leaper a hatch? Let me flip my camera. Hold on. Well, it's got a background. Very rudimentary, but you know what? Hold on. See if I can do it like this. Nevertheless, technical difficulties. Nevertheless, let's I'm getting there it is. All right, so we're going to get people in here that is let me see. John, how do you take off the green screen?
It should just be there. You go. I should just be able to go back to 0 there.
Can you guys see that? Okay, here's what we'll do. Is Leiper a hatch? Yes or no? I'll just put tallies down on what people think, and then at the end of the night, we're going to add them up and see which tallies inevitably are more leaning towards them being a hatch or not. So, all right, and this is going to, when we tally, it's going to go for people that joins in the box. You'll have 2 to 3 minutes each person. You will give why or why not you think that a leaper is a hatch, and we will move on to the next person. We'll get your tally and rock on.
You're going to have to keep up with some of the guys in the chat, too. We've got several yeses and nos. We've got 2 yeses, 2 nos.
Are we going to, do you want me to put it down through the comments as well, what people are thinking in the comments, or just people that join the box?
Both. Whatever we can keep track of. Guys, we're going to do our best, but there's a lot of people in here, and it's going to go fast.
Okay, how many yeses do we have?
2 and 2, yes and no. I'm just I'm following along. 1 more no. Another no. A yes. A no. A yes. Another yes.
Dang, I knew it would be a yes.
2 more yeses.
Another yes.
2 more no's.
Okay. 2 more yeses. 2 more no's.
1 more yes.
1 5, 6, 7. Okay, 1 more yes. 1 more no.
2 more no's.
2 more no's.
And 1 more yes.
5. Nine to 12.
We will get to our opinions there at the tail end of it. Mr. O.P. Taylor, 1 more no for Mr. Gilbo Bates. Yeah, we're going to get to our opinions at the tail end of it there. What we wanted to do, like we've been talking about in the promo videos and stuff all week, we've been telling you guys, like, we want to involve you guys. We want to hear some of your opinions. So, like we outlined here in the very beginning, if you weren't in here for the beginning of this live, guys, we're going to bring you in one at a time. We're going to give you 2 to 3 minutes in the box so you can give us your opinion, yes or no, and why. And again, it's not personal. We're going to stick really hard to time constraints. When your time's up, you're out of the box. And we're going to bring someone else in. So there's 2 more no's there in the chat, Mr. Chili.
Okay. So the last one I got was Chad's. So Chad made 15. What was after Chad's?
Nothing yet. Jay Hillis said yes. Mr. Caleb Browning of Browning Gamefowl says, can't say Leapers in the hatch, but say Blueface, Pennies, McLean's, Colonel Gibbons there. So yeah, that's kind of a very good point. It's like saying none of the others are either.
We got 1 more yes.
And then one
more no. 11, 5, 10, 15, 11 to 16.
Mr. Rooster Mac said he did a generic test and Leiper is a hatch. RJ said yes, they're a hatch.
He did 23 in me, didn't he? For
That's
chickens.
right. 23andMe for the rooster. Got him a genetic makeup. And number one said hatch. So, all right, fellers.
What is it?
We're going to try to
5,
keep
10,
this
15.
in order the best we can. Who wants to come in the box first? Who wants to give their opinion? Is a Leiper a hatch?
I want to make this more neat.
Chad says, not originally a hatch, but nowadays they probably got some in them. They probably do.
Okay.
They probably do.
Just
They
make
turn
this
it
more
on
neat.
and game to the end. I seen you, Mr. HB221. You were trying to request in. You still want to come in and give your opinion? You can be the first one in the box. Mr. Davenport says they are modern day hatches now.
Okay, what do we got? For yes, we got 5, 10, 12. For no, we got 5, 10, 15, 16. What do we have after that? Somebody said no.
Yes, sir. Robbie Johnson said no. Transton Smith said they're bannies. They're bannies. Yep, we'll give you a bit. So who wants to come in first, guys? Who wants to be the first guest on the Leiper debate? Who wants to take their 2 to 3 minutes? All right.
We'll give them the big screen if you want.
We're going to. We are going to. Going to accept Mr. Caleb.
What's up? What's up?
You're on, buddy. How you doing?
All right. How about y'all?
Pretty good.
Doing good, buddy.
Pretty good.
Doing good.
All right. So a Leiper is a hatch chicken, just like all these others that has the hatch chicken name. I mean, Hatch was one man that he called his birds hatches.
Yes, sir.
They adopted the name. All these others adopted the name. Colonel Gibbons, Pennies, McLean, Bluefaces, etc., so on and so on. So you can't really call Leapers not hatches and call all these other ones that has a hatch name hatch chickens. I mean, maybe back when they was created, yeah, they might have not been hatch chicken. They was a crossed chicken. But you can't say, what do y'all consider a hatch chicken?
Today, it's different. Like, very good point. Throughout history, all these bloodlines came because of the breeder, the guy that actually showed the chickens. They carried the man's name. It wasn't about the genetic makeup. It wasn't about him being a strain. And when the guy showed up, they were his chickens. So when Mr. Hatch showed up, those were hatch fowl. And same with anyone, during that time period. So today, hatch chickens are something different. They're typically what people would consider black-breasted reds with green legs, some of them blue legs, stuff like that. Medium station, medium high station, typically known for gameness and power. And back when Mr. Hatch was breeding them, they carried a lot of those characteristics. But the first hatch chickens from Mr. Sanford Hatch himself were not green-legged. They were yellow-legged for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So that right there says, the original hatch chickens was yellow-legged.
Yep.
So technically, if somebody says a Leiper's not a hatch chicken, they've got to say none of the green-legged chickens are hatch chickens.
Very good point.
If you want to be technical, but this is 2026, and hell, if I got a blue chicken out there, I don't want to call it a hatch chicken. It's a hatch chicken to me,
Right.
But I mean, there's people out there, I mean, I got blue faces too. A blue face ain't technically a hatch chicken, if you want to be technical, but I mean, over the years they have adopted the hatch name.
That's correct. That's correct. So it's all relative to the breeder, and what they decided to do with the strain of fowl that they were creating. So good
But
points.
I mean, make, I mean, just like people said, they got straight comb, green-legged chickens, hatch chickens. They got pea comb, green-legged hatch chickens. I mean, it's tomato, tomato.
Yep. Yep.
At the end of the day, I know what they are. They're fucking chickens.
Chicken's a
Excuse my
chicken.
language.
Chicken's a chicken. Good chickens and bad chickens. Chickens are chickens. Yes, sir.
But I mean, just like uh, you can go on and on about all these different breeds and breeds and breeds, and how, for instance, how Colonel Gibbons, got spangled chickens,
That's true.
and how this happened and how this happened.
Yes, sir.
White hackles a lot of base blood in today's hatch chickens.
Very much so. Very much so. And we're going to get into that later when we get into the history of the Leapers.
Yeah, and a lot of people says that Leapers, was brown reds. No, it was technically a shuffler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was some mention of shuffler blood and things like that. They were considered to be Irish brown reds that came from Mr. Kearney, but some lore mentioned shufflers directly. So,
Mhm. That's just like blue-faced chickens is a modern day gray chicken to me.
yes, sir. We're going to bring Rooster Max up on the big screen. You say, buddy?
But
How's it going, fellas?
I'm gonna hop off. Y'all have a good.
Thanks,
See you, buddy.
Thanks, Caleb. Appreciate
Thanks
you
for your
coming
opinion.
in.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. Thank you, buddy.
How's it going, fellas?
Good, sir. How you
What's up,
doing?
buddy?
Good, good. Yeah, my opinion on it is that they're not hatches because, I mean, originally they weren't. It's just that some people consider them because of the leg color, nowadays, but
Mm-hmm.
I would not consider them hatch.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Right. So maybe sometimes people refresh their blood with hatch if they look similar, but I wouldn't consider them a hatch.
I think that holds.
It's just hard nowadays because all those original lines, like you said, were based off the breeder and their last name. So they all made similar chickens or used kind of similar base blood to make their lines. But I mean, I just wouldn't consider it, my opinion.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's very true. A lot of folks, throughout the years, and of course today, still do the same thing. They'll try to pick something that looks similar and may have similar traits or may have traits that might make the bloodline better. They'll infuse that. And so throughout history, the original makeup may be lost, but the foundation kind of still carries itself on.
Exactly. Yeah, it just gets kind of difficult because even yeah, like this guy commented here that nothing is pure. We know that hatches were made of a blend of different lines as well. Everything was right, so it's kind of hard. I think when people say pure bloodline, is they're trying to maintain those abilities or genetics that those certain lines that they have. They try to maintain them there, but we know nothing is pure.
Well, it's relative, right? So if you want to think of it from a genetic makeup standpoint, then nothing since the jungle fowl, thousands of years back, nothing is pure, never has been. But if you think about pure as a set standard for a strain of fowl, no matter what they're made from, if you think of pure as a standard, both physically and performance based and stuff like that, then pure, can be set as your standard for your strain. And so, there's a yes and a no to it. Just depends. For me, it's just all in how you look at it.
Yeah.
Right. And
I
guys,
agree.
keep in mind, we're trying to keep, Banshee and myself, we're trying to keep our own personal opinions to ourselves till the end of the show, and we're going to go into the history of it. So when we give somebody the box, we're just letting them explain their point of view, and we're just bringing different people in, but we're really not trying to tell our points of view until later in the show and what we truly believe. So just keep that in mind as well, that we're just letting everybody run their, give them their time to explain how they feel about it. So
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. This is the Leiper debate.
Got it.
And we want to hear from you guys.
Right.
We want your opinions.
Yep,
and
this is about you guys.
Nothing's wrong.
All right,
No
fellas.
opinions are wrong.
All right, fellas. So I guess I gave my point of view. So to me, I would not say so.
We certainly appreciate you.
Let's see what other people got to say. Thanks.
You're very
Oh,
welcome.
absolutely.
Thank you. All right. Who's coming in the box next? Who else wants to give their
Step on
opinion?
up, fellas. Step on up. The water's fine.
Absolutely.
Be shy now. Don't pay no attention to this background. I can't figure out.
Where'd you travel to?
I'm just gonna. I wish the Philippines again, but I can't. But
If you leave without me at the snap of a finger, then that's just terrible. The debate is whether or not Leipers are hatched chickens. They're Mr. War. Are they hatched chickens? That was my first thought too, Chad. I was like, he went to Italy.
went to Spain or something.
Yes, indeed. So, are they hatched chickens? Come in the box. Give yourself give the opinion. You get 2 to 3 minutes. Mr. Browning was in here as our first guest. Gave an excellent, point of view from his perspective on the fact that he believes they are. And Mr. Rooster Max come in and says he doesn't think so.
And Banshee Guy and myself aren't debating. This is your all's topic, so we're not going to be correcting anybody or saying anything. We just give you guys full reign to say what you want to, and then stick around towards the end of the show, and we're going to explain the genetics, the history, and what we believe.
That's correct. We're going to talk a little bit about the man himself and his life, where he was born, a few things that he did. A lot of folks knew him as Judge Leiper. His given name was John, and all of his friends and people that were close to him called him Jack. So he was
Jack Leiper.
Often referred to as Jack Leiper. So the man himself, we'll get into a little bit of his history and his fowl and how they came about. We'll get into all that towards the end. Right now, we want to give you guys the spotlight, and we want to let you give us your opinion on whether or not Leiper chickens are hatched chickens. It's a hot topic. Always has been since social media found gamefowl.
And look, guys, if you want to jump in the box and you don't want to take up a full 2 or 3 minutes, like you just want to say a few words and hop out, that's more than fine. You don't have to stick around for 2 minutes. Just give your point of view and roll out, and that's more than fine with us. So,
yes, sir. Let's see, Mr. Hunt. I'm gonna try to bring you in. See if we can make this happen. Where's the daggone search bar? Alright, let's see. It may not let me, buddy. I'm looking for you here on the list. I don't see you, and it won't let me click it on your name, so I can't put you in the box. It won't let me put you in the box, and it's probably because you don't have very many followers. I thought we could put anyone in the box. Boo. What's happening, Mr. Walker Rowe? Leipers are black blood, not hatched, says football. Just tell the man I ain't letting him in. If I could, I can't screen share this, but I mean, Lord knows I've clicked on it, and you have to have more than 50. And you got 88, so why won't it let me? Resume the live to invite viewers as guests. Let me just click on someone else to see. The multi-guest button works for other people.
don't be shy, fellas. Let's get this hashed out of the way because right now we're up to, let's see, 5, 10, 11, 12 to 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. And that surprised me that there's a lot more people saying yes than what I would have initially thought.
Me too. I thought it would have been really heavy no. I really did. I thought it would have been a very heavy no. Mr. William Lynch Jr. said they have red quill in them. We'll find out at the end. Because the makeup of the Leipers is one of the things that seems to be definitive. The information is across multiple sources. And guys, digging up this information wasn't easy. Finding information on Mr. Leiper himself was pretty difficult. And finding information about him in competition was a little difficult. Because a lot of the articles and sources of that day were pretty well word of mouth. And the written articles are long gone and there's no archives for them. So...
But the ones you do find are really good. So it's going to blow your mind. Some of these facts are pretty astonishing about the man himself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pretty astonishing.
Another question. Who says the original creator told the truth? No one. We cannot be definitively sure. So I'm not going to sit here and preach to you that I'm 100% certain.
No, we just have to look at the facts. We have to look at where he was at that time of his life, who he was with, where he would have got fowl from, and kind of what he already had on his farm, and put one and one together. Mm-hmm. But that aligns with what they were claiming it was. Like, it does align because it would just make sense that way. You know what I mean?
One of the things that was outlined, and I followed the guidelines, Douglas Bruce did a video on Leiper quite a while back. He used the census to track where Mr. Leiper would go. And that's almost one of the only ways you can do it. Because, the census was, pretty thorough for the early time periods. And, everybody pretty well participated. It's one of the only ways you could track the man. A lot of old timers played games with people on their fowl. They did.
A lot of old timers didn't know what they were making. They were just throwing stuff together, and they were ending up being something more than what they thought they were going to be. And they just set the line right there and just kept going back to these certain chickens, and they didn't know what they were. And today, people are like, "Well, I'm looking for a pure Billy Ruble, pure this, pure that." Well, you're looking for the traits that man bred. So, but that's another topic for another time. But
yes, sir. And we'll be doing, I like these historical bloodlines, and I like where we can go with these and things like that. So we'll be doing other shows in the future, where I believe we'll have some good success talking about some of these breeders from the past. And some of the lore and legends and everything that went into them. I actually spoke to Chili about it just a night or two ago. Remember, I was talking to you about.
Get me off of here. I'm in Venice again. Get me off here, dude. Something's going on with my TikTok. Y'all don't pay attention to me right now. I got to figure this out.
So I was talking to you the other night. Remember, about a man named Nick Arrington. Do you remember that?
Now I'm good.
Good deal.
Nick Arrington.
Yep.
I don't recall.
Nick Arrington was an early gamefowl enthusiast and had participated in one of the largest mains ever recorded in history.
Yes, ever.
General Santa Anna. And
right.
Mr. Arrington had a 300 cock main. Mr. Arrington traveled down in the Texas area, which back then was Mexico, and fought Santa Anna. They had a big sort of festival to do sort of deal with it. Took them 2 weeks to complete that main. And that'll be something we can dive into as well. Guys like that people have never heard of. Breeders of the past. Because if I don't remember, so don't quote me, but I'm almost certain that Mr. Arrington got foul from George Washington's lineage, the Mount Vernon Reds and Mount Vernon Grays. So, not positive, but I'm pretty sure. So that'd be a pretty cool story we could do something on in the future as well. There's tons of gamefowl lore that we can go through and
Tons.
really explore history and not only educate guys, but have some fun doing it.
We're going to do lives about like blues. We're going to dive into like blues, the history of blues, the different lines. We're just going to go into different things, guys. It's going to be awesome. So if you're not following me and Banshee Guy, follow us. We're going to have a lot of good shows. The layout's going to get better. We're going to figure out how to fix this. I'm a little bit of technical difficulties with the background. I got it fixed though, but the show's just getting kicked off, man. It's early in season, but it's just raw. We're just two guys having fun, enjoying gamefowl and enjoying making the show. So I hope you guys enjoy it and stick around and enjoy the ride with us. All the bloopers and everything. So
Hey, it's live, man. It's live. Technical difficulties are going to happen. So we're going to have some good stuff in the future. We hope to get a couple of guests on here. We might have one the next 1 or 2 shows. Not 1 or 2 shows, but within the next 2 to 4 weeks, we may have a guest. We may not. We'll obviously update you guys as all that stuff moves forward. We hope to bring you some really good entertainment and interactive content.
So nobody's hopping in right now to give their opinion. Is a leaper a hatch?
Come on in the box.
Come on, guys. Disappointing now. We gotta hear some opinions.
We had 2 guys kick us off. 1 yes, 1 no. Somebody else click that guest button.
Yeah, Caleb stepped up to the plate, guys.
Sure
Come on
did.
now.
He kicked us off. A gentleman asked what the difference is between pennies and leapers. I do not know because I don't know the history of Cheryl Penny and his chickens. Osama bin Laden says they're hatched chickens. Jose Garcia says they're hatched chickens. But Mr. Hillbilly CWB says no, but yes.
So what do we got next? 2.
We had 2 yeses. And then 1 no, but yes. What is the question?
What?
What is the question? The question is whether or not you guys think a leaper is a hatch. What do you guys think? What is your opinion? Is a leaper a hatch? Pennies were crossed with leapers and they were called bone crushers. I do remember the bone crushers were leaper and penny. Santos Guhan says leapers are not hatch. Kevin says leaper is not a hatch. Trigger says it is not.
Oh, wow.
Hughes Gamefowl says no. William Lynch Jr. said yes. ASIL Champ says yes. Leapers are hatches. We're getting more yeses than I ever expected.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Leapers, true leapers, says Lewis and Sons, do not dance like hatch. Hatch are slow, hard hitters, and bottom foul. Very good point.
Interesting.
Osama bin Laden says someone enlighten us to why it isn't. We'll get to that point. If one of the gentlemen that says no will step inside the box, we will give you 2 to 3 minutes if you choose to take it. You don't have to be in here that long. You could pop in and say no. You could say why and be out in 30 seconds if you want to. Step up to guys. Yeah. This is your time too. Voice your opinion. Is a leaper a hatch chicken? What do you think? Because it is an age-old argument on Facebook. I mean, it's as old as Facebook itself.
We have our answer. Me and Banshee Guy, we agree on the same thing, and we'll get to that, and we'll pull out facts and history, and we will answer the age-old question: is a leaper a hatch? At least in our own words and how we believe it to be. So stick around for that. But up to that point, we want to hear what you guys think.
Yes,
what this is all about.
We want to give you guys your moment. For your moment from the chat, this is your time to interact. You have the stage should you want it to voice your opinion. And we'll get into the history. We'll have a little bit of fun with that, and we will give our opinions at the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Old timers say no. Newbies say yes. That's really true. Tim Smith said, no, it's not a hatch. It's not a hatch. And let's see, I just missed it. Sheila B. also said they are not a hatch. Joel Vieira said Leipers are hatch. What's up, Garlic Fever? How you doing? Let's hear it, and definitely you get more comments. Hey, the comments are rolling. We're trying to keep up with them. We're doing our best, guys. Kevin says it'll never be a hatch. Many believe them to be simply because they have green legs and dark hackles. That is also a really good point. So maybe that does influence a lot of folks today.
Pull up the big screen. Let me show you where we're at right now. This is where we're at. For yes, we got 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. For no, we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It's 25 to 18, which is mind-blowing that we have 18 yeses.
I just missed.
And I'm not saying whether they are or not, but that's pretty cool.
It is very cool. Very cool. I just missed Zay. Zay was trying to come in the box. See if I can invite him. I don't know if they clicked it on purpose or not, but we'll invite them. See if they would like to come in and say yes or no.
I'm a moderator on here.
Sanchez
says no. We got 2 more no's.
No problem, Zay. No problem. He said it was just accidental. Didn't Mr. Leiper raise for hatch? We will get to that in the historical part. He may. He may not. But he might have.
Somebody else said no. Oh, the no's are tallying up.
The no's are coming in now. Lewis and Son says he's got both. And they're different.
They are different.
They should be
different. But are they also alike and similar?
Are they? That's the age-old question. It's like asking if a sweater is a kelso. All are crossed. Crossed, yes. We were talking about purity earlier, just for a moment. I'm not going to get really deep into it, and this is my perspective. Because guys will say there are no pure chickens left. If you look at it from a genetic composition or an origination, the original composition of the fowl, no. Nothing since the days of jungle fowl, thousands of years ago, has been pure. Nothing. But if you look at pure as a set standard, a standard of qualities, physical traits, mental traits, everything they should be, if you look at pure as a standard for a set line of fowl, they'll come with this kind of plumage, these kind of combs, these legs, blah, 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 all these things. That is your pure definition right there. That is your pure. It is a set standard for a strain of fowl. If you look at it from a genetic creation standpoint, nothing is pure. Gutierrez may come into the box. Can you hear us, buddy? Mr. Gutierrez, Game Farm, can you hear us? I don't think he knew he was on.
It's all right, buddy. It's happened to all of us.
It's all good. It's happened before. People click the button. It happens. Cedar Fork says he agrees with him. Who is him? Because I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to navigate the last guest. We have 92 viewers, guys. This is pretty awesome. We certainly appreciate all you guys coming out here for this live and voicing your opinions.
Don't be afraid to step up to the plate, fellas. This is just your
box.
Step into the box.
Mr. Lewis and Son, would you like to come into the box and give us a little 2 or 3 minutes on why you think Leipers and hatch chickens are not the same?
Yeah, they'll request to say. I mean, you got to think, dude, it's a pretty split debate because, yeah, even though it's what, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, it's 19 to 15, 20, 20. It's 19 to 28.
That's
still, I mean,
it's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like 75% no.
very interesting.
All right, let's see. We've got another guest. Blaine Rocky Moore. You got center stage if you want it there, buddy. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. You're on.
I just want to give you guys a shout out, like what you guys are doing, and I get a lot of information from everywhere and stuff, and I want to get a shout out to Top Spur and all them. They got some good information, and I just want to say they probably just got a little bit of Jap blood in them,
A little
Okay.
Jap blood.
and just kind of makes them a little different, but they're kind of from the same family as all the stuff I listen to and stuff, but that's my opinion, and all the American games are pretty bunch of land race bloods now, so
Yes, sir.
just that's my opinion, and want to give a shout out and like what you guys are doing,
Well, we
Appreciate you, buddy.
certainly do
We sure do.
appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for your opinion.
Alrighty,
Take care.
you too.
So he says Jap blood is in there. Okay, that's cool. That's
Maybe-
interesting.
Maybe some Jap blood. The original Leapers did not have hatch in them, but I believe most do now for sure. That's probably correct today. Choi Manzano says Leapers are hatch.
Okay, let me put that down.
Peacock says more than 50% hatch, so he would say so. That makes them a hatch.
Okay.
Mug or black blood definitely in them, said Peacock. Lewis and Son said he didn't want to give his opinion because some people might not want to hear it. That's the way it goes in these debates. That's the way it can go.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. It's all a friendly debate, but if it gets heated, it is what it is. But I
Yep.
mean, it's a very controversial topic. You just got to hash it out and have it. That's what we're here for,
Guys,
just to let people give their opinion.
at the end of the day, it's all your perspective. So there is no wrong answer. There really isn't.
No, there isn't. No, and we're most certainly not going to tell you you're right or wrong. But at the end of the
Nope.
show, we'll give the facts of what we can dig up. But this is your 2 or 3 minutes to say what you want.
If I was alive when Mr. Leiper was breeding and showing chickens, I'd say yes or no and defend it to the grave. But I wasn't. So I'm not going to sit here definitively and say for sure.
$21 to 28 is the score.
That's pretty close. I would have expected it. I would have expected it to be like 7 to 28. What are we doing here, user? We are discussing this evening the Leiper gamefowl. And right now, this is the section where the chat has their chance to come in and have 2 to 3 minutes to discuss and voice whether or not they think a Leiper is a hatch. Are Leipers hatch? Because guys will say Leiper hatch, and some guys will say Leiper's not a hatch, and so it's both ways. It's a pretty split debate. It's a hot topic always when the name comes up. What do you think? Is a Leiper a hatch? Ernest Isaac says green legs equals hatch. Aaron Bailey said
So that's
no.
another one for you. Okay, one yes and one no.
0888 said Leiper is not a hatch.
Not a hatch, okay.
Holy moly, Merck said if it's not a hatch, then what is it? We will get into the history of the Leiper gamefowl in about 10 minutes. Guys, you got about 10 minutes left. You want to come in as a guest? We give you 2 to 3 minutes. You can come in, you can voice your opinion, and you can tell us whether or not you believe Leiper or hatchfowl.
Ooh, wait, I want to hear from Fred because Fred's had leapers a long time. He said,
Yes, he did. Yes,
I'm
he
on the
has.
hatch side.
He said he's on the yes side. They are a hatch.
Okay.
Mr. Widowmaker, would you like to come in and give us a couple minutes of your time and say why?
Who else do we have
Ricky
after?
Khan. Ricky Khan said yes,
Yes.
and Holy Merc always said his daddy said yes. Thank you, sir.
The floor is yours, my friend.
We're having a little trouble hearing you if you're speaking. Mr. Widowmaker, can you hear us?
Can hear you.
Good deal. We can hear you
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the hat side because I've had mine almost 30 years, and I've never seen a really extreme variation. I've never seen no odd colors, black feathers. The only after 22 years, I did start getting some straight comb ones, but always green leg, always pretty much same eyes, same conformation. So I'm gonna go with the hat side.
Okay.
Fair enough. 22 years is a good while to test whether or not that family's consistent.
Yeah,
It
I've had them
is.
about 26 total, and they were never any different. 22 years in, I started getting some straight comb pullets, but
Yes, sir.
you know how it is. That's brother and sister, and
Mm-hmm.
line bred, inbred, outbred. You know.
Yep.
Well, that also reflects too. We'll get into that. Some of the things that went into making the leaper, and maybe it's popping out the tighter they get. So we'll touch on that a little bit later.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I consider them hatch chickens, but like you say, it's my opinion.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you for coming in and giving us the time and letting us know where you stand.
All right,
Yes,
y'all
sir.
have a good one.
You do the
See you, buddy.
same. Thank you.
All right, you meant to bump me out of here. I'm not real skilled with this.
Not a problem.
That's fine.
Not a problem. Thank you, sir.
See you. Yes, sir.
All right. Blaine
All right.
Roque Moore said, yes, they are hatch chickens. Donovan the Chicken Man said, no, they're not the same. He said Colonel Leiper created the Leiper line and Sanford Hatch created the Hatch bloodline.
Let's see. All right. Let's see what the score is so far. Let's see.
Angel Guz says, I think people started calling them Hatch because a lot of people were going to get them from Hatch Village. Rat Graves certainly did make the Leaper a household name in modern
25
times.
to 31. Somebody else said not a hatch.
Yep.
25 to 32.
Jorge Barraza says no, they're not a hatch. Brandy Klein says they have no hatch blood in them. Brady Klein. No hatch blood in them. Lewis and Son says Mr. Graves Leapers are hatch. There's probably a reason for that. And there's no right or wrong.
No, sir.
We're creeping up on our first hour into this 2-hour show, and we are holding 110 viewers. This is awesome. You guys really turned out in droves for this one. We hope you're enjoying it just as much as we are right before we get into the history of the Leiper gamefowl. G&G, Leiper no hatch in them. They look a lot like a hatch, says Catcher Man.
Hmm.
Jonathan Montiel says maybe back in the day they were leapers, but now they all have hatch blood in them. TX Fighty says Jesus Christ loves y'all. That's good because we love the Lord ourselves. Mr. Kevin Smith coming into the box. Mr. Smith, how you doing? Can you hear us, sir? May have been an accidental request. May have been an accidental request. That's okay. That happens. Technical difficulties. Douglas had a debate about Leiper, and it ended up not being a hatch. It was more black. So there's another gentleman's opinion. Just about every cross on my yard has Leiper blood in them, says Cedar Ridge.
Interesting.
As long as they put up W's, I don't care what they is, said Mr. Bingham. That's the competition mindset, and a good one, in my opinion. Ruble hatch looks the exact same, says HMMC. Are we talking
That's a good point.
Are we talking about the history of Colonel William T. Leiper's bloodlines? That is a common search mistake there, Mr. Donovan. I came up with the same name, and there's another gentleman in history that was Colonel William T. Leiper, but he actually had nothing to do with the gamefowl and wasn't alive during the same time that John Leiper was alive. John H.T. Leiper was the man that has the lore attached to the Leiper gamefowl. That was a hurdle I had to cross too when we started doing our research, because I'm telling you, this information is not easy to find, and it was pretty difficult to dig some of this stuff up, but we did find some very interesting things. Judge Leiper, yes, he was in fact a magistrate. Judge Leiper. Didn't brown, red, and white hackle make the hatch fowl? They did indeed. They did indeed.
Yep.
You must watch Supernatural. No, I don't. I've heard of it, but I've never seen 30 seconds of it. I have no idea.
That's a funny comment.
Yes, indeed. Last chance, fellers, if somebody wants to come in the box. Because I said lore.
Surely somebody would step up to the plate.
Okay, that's cool. I like it. Somebody, anybody, one last person. This is your chance. Come into the box. Give us your voiced opinion. Is a Leiper a hatch chicken? Are they the same thing? Are Leipers and hatch chickens the same?
This is going to be interesting when we get into the history, guys, so stick around for that. Okay, Death Row, step on up.
What's up, fellas?
How you doing,
What's up, buddy?
I'm a hatch guy, and I mean, I'm real partial to hatches, but I don't like a lot of these off hatches. Me, I'm a McLean guy to the day I die, and I have pennies too, but I never really liked the Leapers. You know what I mean? They're not even built like a hatch to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you lean towards the no side.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right.
For sure. Now a lot of guys in Texas who have Leapers, they show them in a short knife, and I mean they're not like they used to be. If they are, you know what I mean, they're not dead game. That's why I stick to the old stuff. McLean, that's my favorite.
Okay.
So
Leiper.
all these off hatches, leapers, and I don't even like blue faces. Them not hatched either. I don't like them either.
I hear you.
That's just my personal opinion. You know,
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
and
That's
and we all pay money to feed. You can feed whatever chickens you want.
Right.
But I decide, like I say, but I put Mama Cleans up against anybody's hatches. So
that's a confident
you know what
man.
I
I
mean?
like it. I like it.
Yeah, man. And I'm one guy. You might see me in your state. A lot of these guys they talk and talk and talk, but you might see me in your state
Yes, sir. Good deal.
because I've
So,
been everywhere. I go everywhere, and I ain't scared of nobody.
that's right.
I like it. Like the confidence.
Yes,
I'm
indeed.
not trying to be an ass. I'm not trying to be an ass or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying
No.
if you don't have confidence in what you breed and what you have in your yard, then why you have it?
Yes, sir. That's a good way to be. Every every breeder should take excellent pride in what they've got. If they don't believe they've got the best, they're doing it wrong.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something. I haven't told a lot of people, but this year I'm breeding. The way I'm breeding this year is so I can come to the southeast every month. At least once a month, I'm gonna be in the southeast. Probably not next year, but the year after. I'll be in the southeast every month,
Good deal.
somewhere in one of those states.
Good deal.
So I know people gonna talk shit about me now because I'm
Ah,
talking about these.
No, you just stepped up to give your opinion, man. That's what it's all about right now is giving opinions.
that's right.
Because
And
you know a
it's
lot of chicken men they get in their feelings, right? If you just so happen to talk about a chicken in their yard, you know
yes,
what
sir.
I mean? Because there's a lot of chickens I really don't like muffs, toppies. They could all die, and go to hell for all I care, you know. You know what I mean? People hate that hate to hear me say that too. But hey, man, that's my opinion. I know a lot of people with a lot of good toppings. I don't know anybody with good muffs though.
Yes, sir. Obviously, just like any other bloodline, they exist. It's all about finding them.
Yeah, for sure,
And it's all in
for
what you like.
sure.
It's all in what you like, and that's part of the game. That's the fun.
What I will tell y'all is give y'all boys in that southeast credit is due, man. In that gaff, you go to a spot, you might go to a three for 150 and probably see some of the best birds you ever seen in your life. You know what I mean? Them boys fight tough. And
Yes,
y'all, I
sir.
call it the Bible Belt. Y'all Bible Belt boys fight real tough.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you coming in. We appreciate you giving us your time and your opinions
Yes,
and
sir.
weighing in on the subject.
Yep, stepping up to the plate. We like it.
Yeah, if y'all see me somewhere, don't be afraid to come shake my hand.
No
I'm friendly
problem.
to everybody.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
But y'all have a good one, man. I'm gonna keep watching.
You do the same.
All
Thank you
right.
very
Appreciate you.
much.
Thanks for your
All
opinion.
right, all righty.
Yes, sir. Good opinion.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to step up to the plate? The box is open, fellas.
The comments are getting away from me. I'm trying to catch up on them. There's good blood everywhere, for sure. I do
There
not
is.
have. I don't have any leapers myself. I know Chile had a family of leaper fowl at one time.
Right. Yeah,
So
they were a three-way leaper cross. They were actually like, believe it or not, the Rob Mullins, the Coal Dust Leapers mixed with the James Sylvester Leapers mixed with the Rat Graves Leapers, set as a line. So that was a very interesting bloodline.
A lot of leapers.
Good chickens, though.
A lot of leapers
Yeah.
made into one leaper. All right, Triple C Game Farm.
What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
What's up?
I'm doing good, man. My opinion on leapers now. I mean, there ain't nothing pure. It's just pure on how you breed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to find a leaper that doesn't have any hatch in them now. 'Cause a lot of people, they don't know, where they truly came from. They're gonna breed any hatch into a leaper. And they're gonna try to just keep calling it a leaper. But originally, leapers. I mean, me personally, I think they characteristic a hatch to everything. I mean, I think leaper and hatches are they're the same thing in a sense.
So you think upon their creation, you would lean more towards like that they are a hatch chicken?
Yes, I mean, that's
Okay.
the way I look at it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
certainly respect that opinion. Absolutely.
100%.
I'm not saying I had out the purest thing in the world. Just really don't know what it is at the base of it.
Yes, sir.
I'm taking 6 of them to the barbecue this weekend. If I put them against my best hatches, they show the same way. You can't tell a difference.
Yes, sir. So they are, even today, more of a hatch type fowl.
And you're saying they hold some of the traits of your hatches too, correct?
Yes, I mean, they
Okay.
walk the same way as my rubles.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's a good opinion as well.
Yeah. But realistically, if it's a pure leaper, it's not a hatch. It's your white hackle.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. Probably got him a phone call.
Yeah. It does.
I did have a phone call. I'm back.
Yeah. We're good.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, if it's a pure leaper, then it's your typical white hackle, brown reds, and a little bit of round head in them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Depends, if we know the truth. Was a brown red made with hatch back in the day? With a little bit, you never know.
No, see, for certain, we're not going to know for sure what they did. You know what I mean? Because we might be breeding stuff that we think was in it that was never put in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way to know for sure.
No, you never know.
That's it.
The only thing that matters is if they win for you. There you go.
That's the main point. Do you like them? Are they good enough? Do they earn a place on your yard?
That's it.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You have to feed them.
That's right.
If they ain't good enough for me, they don't get to eat here.
If they don't earn that feed, they shouldn't have a place on the yard.
Yep. You take care, brother. Let someone take the spot, and y'all have a good night.
Appreciate you. Thank
See
you
you,
for coming
buddy.
in and giving your opinion.
Thank you.
You have a good evening. Yes, sir. Mr. Fred at Widowmaker said in his eyes, a hatch is used in bread considered for bottom and gameness. But he loves leapers. Had a good opinion on him. He's had them for a good while. You can feed a junket chicken the same as you can feed a good one. That is the truth.
Yeah, that just goes to say, like, not jumping off subject by any means, but when I went to the Philippines, I was telling Jin, he was big on, you'd talk about breeds and stuff and what you like and what you don't. I mean, you'd say, I don't know, for instance, Joe Redmond Grays, I have Blueface, I have this. He'd cut you off and he'd go, no. You got winners and you got losers. That's all that matters. Can they win or can't they? So it kind of tied in with what he was saying. Our last guest that hopped in.
Different mentality in the Philippines for sure, and of course the atmosphere there, the legality of it, certainly makes things different. But it is
It
different.
does.
It's different over there, and he's well known for telling people that. So that's
All right,
pretty
guys.
cool.
Somebody else step up. Yeah,
One
somebody
more.
else step up to the plate. Is a leaper a hatch?
What's up there, Gamefowl Times? What's up, Nate? How you doing? Nate from Kentucky. Coming in the box. This will be the last guest that'll voice their opinion.
Hello, everyone.
What's
Hello,
going on,
buddy.
buddy?
So is a leaper a hatch, Nathan?
Well, I mean, if you want to go a hatch, so we have to. You all probably said all this, and I probably missed it because people called and things. But at the basis of it, Sandy Hatch made a family of chickens out of white hackles and brown red that were green legged and red, and those are your hatch chickens. So the moment somebody bred those, Ted McLean or anybody, to one other breed of any kind, it was no longer a hatch. No matter if it's a Leaper, a Blueface, a Gilmore, a McLean, no matter what happens. That's the way I look at it. If you want to get really technical. But these days, anything green leg's a hatch. So, but I got chickens standing outside. 3/4 hatch, quarter round head. Things ain't nothing like a hatch, but they're green legged,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of breeds like that. You tell me how a hatch 30 years ago that couldn't get off the ground. Their bellies were glued to the dirt just about. And then nowadays you go out there and you see a hatch chicken, that thing hit a 30-foot pine tree like it's nothing. They get up there now up in the air, and they didn't do that before. So something's obviously different. That's kind of what I think about it, which I'm sure y'all probably said that, but
No, good point. Good opinion. You're actually the first to say that.
You are. You are indeed.
I do a lot of thinking,
Right. We encourage that.
But I ain't saying I'm right neither. I've been wrong. I've been wrong a lot in my life, and if you ask my wife, like 5 times a day. So.
Yep. As times move forward and the game changes, people make adjustments, and they either take the time to do some extremely selective breeding, or you do what most people did from the past, and you find something that complements that bloodline, and you infuse it, and you move forward. And so it's a great point to talk about what hatch chickens were and what they are now.
That's my big thing. I think even Chris said down here. I mean, years ago they wasn't worth looking at hardly, and half of them was so mean you couldn't touch them. You couldn't. And now just selective breeding, I guess, might be part of it. Breeding the calmer ones and different things over the years. People calling out the mean ones and not breeding no mean lines because one, it don't sell very good. 2, it ain't fun. But they have surely changed for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys get to cover Judge Leiper and Johnny Mitchell and all those guys?
Not yet.
No, that's what we're going to cover after this. Yeah, we went straight into the debate side of it. We wanted to hear people's opinions, and then we're getting towards that end, we're going to cover the history and all of that good stuff too. So,
man, yep. I made it right on time, didn't I?
You sure
right on
did.
time, friends.
You sure
I'm gonna jump down here. And try to learn something.
All righty, appreciate you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, buddy. Appreciate it.
If one more person wants to hop in, I'm going to run and get my iPad. I have my notes on there and things where we was kind of studying up and doing, reading up on articles. So I'm going to run and grab that. So, Banshee, if you want to hold the show for a minute, I will be right back.
Go ahead. I'm going to try to accept Mr. Victor Martinez into the box. He was requesting right before Nate was finished. Mr. Martinez, can you hear me, sir? Mr. Victor Martinez. You got the box. Can you hear us, buddy? Your volume is really low. Oh, never mind. Technical difficulties. All right. All right. So that will be our last guest. Unless one of y'all wants to come in and give it quick, that'll be our last guest before we move in to the history of the man and the fowl themselves. It's really, really difficult to find solidified evidence and record and things like that of Judge Leiper in competition. It was widely accepted and widely spoken about throughout gamefowl lore that Mr. Leiper was a handler, a breeder first and foremost, and a handler. So he was very much involved with competition. And, he left his mark, obviously, with his family of fowl and what he did within the gamefowl community, for his time. And of course, guys, it doesn't need to even really be said. So what we're going to talk about here tonight when we talk about the man and the Leiper fowl and everything like that, we're talking about a time period in U.S. history where the active sport of cockfighting was accepted, and completely legal. So, obviously, today, times have changed, political climate's a bit different, but we're going to talk about a period in history of when the competition of competing gamecocks was completely legal. Gave the man a big screen a little too soon. Technical difficulties, fellers. He'll let me know when
No,
he's
you're
ready.
absolutely fine. I was just pulling up the article.
No problem. No problem at all. So, without further ado, Mr. Chili, we got 40 minutes left. Let's go into some history on the man known as John Henry Thomas Leiper.
All right, so we got some good facts here, guys. So I'm going to kick it off. John Henry Thomas Leiper, also known as Judge Leiper, he was actually born in Pennsylvania, Chester, Pennsylvania, in the year 1867, December 23rd, 1867. That's a long time. I didn't know he was that old. I'm not going to lie.
Yep, I didn't know it either, so I was astonished to find out what his age was upon his death.
So before the man, also known as Judge Leiper, was a judge, let's get in the comments. Can anybody tell us, this is very interesting, what he did before he was a judge? We'll give people a second to answer. I don't think anybody's going. No cheating, guys. No cheating.
Santos, if you messaged me privately, I could probably cite you a bunch of the sources and everything. Let's see. I can give you.
He said mafia.
The mafia.
Lawyer.
Before he became a magistrate, before he became a judge, what did he get into? And what was he well known for? It's pretty cool. Really cool.
You would never guess it. You would never guess it in a million years.
You would hardly, you wouldn't see it. It's kind of hard to think about. Lots of good guesses. Lots and lots of good guesses. So while you guys are guessing, and we appreciate your participation because this is what we like. This is what makes it fun. This is what makes it interactive. We love it. So, the man, like Jay Chili said, was born December 23rd, 1867 in Chester, Pennsylvania. He came from a very esteemed family, an aristocratic family, okay? For the guys that don't know what aristocratic families are, they're pretty high in regards to the community, the totem pole, and wealth, okay? So he and his family were never hurting for money. Mr. Leiper's family, for generations, the family was well known to be in law practice and in politics. So every man in his family was a man of esteem in the community and wealth. They were country club type folks 100%. It's actually interesting that you say that, Mr. Opie Taylor, because later when we talk about Mr. Sanford Hatch and Judge Leiper, they met at a country club in New York.
All right. Are you guys ready for what he was?
What did the man do, Mr. Chili?
He was a professional baseball pitcher. He
Indeed
pitched
was.
baseball for Columbus. He was a guy that was very much involved with sports. So he pitched for Columbus and won 71% of his decisions. They said he was a very strong, and it's even said here, the Daily Local News wrote, this young man, let's see what they said. This is a young man of good habits, is strong and active, and a good all-around. And they were saying he was a good all-around athlete and just had good all-around habits as in his decision-making in pitching. So he was very much, and he pitched for two different teams. So he had a very successful career in baseball. I thought that was very interesting.
Very interesting. It's pretty awesome because you wouldn't hardly guess that the man would have been involved in professional baseball.
No, after baseball ended, he went on to play football until he broke his leg in 1899.
Mm-hmm. And then
Yes.
let's see. I will, if I can pull it up here on the screen, and I think I can pull this off. Okay, so this is, of course, a little small, but this is from baseballreference.com in regards to Mr. John Henry Thomas Leiper. This is
Show him what he looks like.
This is about his
Can you zoom in on that?
I will. I've actually got that photo loaded up, and I'll be able to put it on the screen. So he was 5 feet 11 inches, so he was of average height. And he played for the American Association because there was no major league back then. Baseball was just starting to become popular. He was left-handed.
Correct.
Yes, he was. He was left-handed.
He was a southpaw.
So again, he played for the Columbus Solons, I think is how you pronounce it. Solons or Solons. And this, again, comes from baseballreference.com. Mr. Jack Leiper. So, let's bring up the image of... Well, that's not it. How did that come in? That's a cull chick. I thought I already moved that image. That is not the man. That's not what Leiper gamefowl is supposed to look like either. I changed it.
You better hope they don't look like that.
If they look like that, we got problems. So, I thought I changed it before the show, but I guess it didn't load up. So,
We're live. Let the bloopers roll. Let them roll.
Technical difficulties.
Raw footage.
Now, where? Come on. Come on. Oh, that's why. That's why. There it is. Boom, bang, done.
The man himself.
That is one of the only, actually the only image I could find. Did you see where I found it? It was the baseballreference.com. It's the only known image of the man. John Henry.
Very sophisticated looking gentleman.
Yep. You
with a very successful career.
You can tell that, like, in the photo, he was very esteemed. He was well dressed. He was well manicured. I do believe this photo was utilized graveside at his funeral service. I think that's where it came from. So, the man himself, born in Chester, Pennsylvania, 1867, died in West Goshen, Pennsylvania, August 23rd, 1960. He died of cardiac arrest.
Before we jump into that, after he left his After he left his baseball and football career, he went on to pursue his family's path, and he became. This is another good subject. He was not a judge like what people thought. He did not judge people and in a courtroom and sentence you. He was actually a justice of the peace. A few differences there, but he went on to. So after baseball, he broke his leg with football. He went on to work in Long Island, New York. Where he went into law practice. So he pursued his family's path. So he stayed on that road for a while, and he, after he left the law firm, I guess he was done with that. He went and purchased a farm to start hunting dogs. So that's cool. So this guy had this blew my mind just reading this, guys, just learning about it and reading it. Just imagine what a life. So he was like, okay, I've been a professional baseball player, played professional football or whatever, got tired of that, went on to be a justice of the peace, a judge pretty much, a justice of the peace. And now I want to buy a farm and start hunting and training dogs. So this guy, if he wanted to do something, he was going to do it. So yeah, he lived a very long life. He died at the age of 92. But John, if you want to touch a little bit on the history of what he did and how he was involved with Sandy Hatch, take the floor.
Sure, certainly. It's a really great point because I had forgotten about the dogs and the hunting and so on. I don't think they were game dogs, Opie Taylor, but he really, obviously being from an esteemed family, they enjoyed hunting. They enjoyed fox hunting. They enjoyed game bird hunting like grouse. I don't know if there were any pheasants in Pennsylvania, but or New York rather. Anyway, up there in that region, but they do have grouse and other game birds, upland game birds that they would hunt, quail and things of that nature. So they were he was very much involved in that. He loved the sports of hunting. He loved outdoors, and he loved competition, which eventually led him to gamefowl. And he started taking an interest in gamefowl in the 1900s. And at that point in time, I guess he was pretty fascinated with gamecocks and the way that they competed, the gameness, all that stuff that kind of still fascinates us folks today. And met Mr. Sanford Hatch at a country club up there in New York, and I believe it was at Long Island. And this is probably somewhere in the late, I'd say I was going to say late 1910s, but what I mean by that is like 1906, 1907-ish, somewhere in that area. And they basically kind of started helping one another, and Sandy Hatch, of course, had broodfowl that he had acquired directly from Mr. Michael Kearney. Michael Kearney brought over his fowl directly from Ireland. They were white hackle, the Kearney white hackles, and they were Irish Kearney brown reds. And so Hatch and Mr. Leiper, and it's been said, and Mr. Jim Collins did an article, and there's lots of information speculating as the relationship of these two guys. Some folks say they were friends, and some folks say they didn't like each other, and they never liked each other, and some guys say, well, they never even met. History, when you follow the census and you follow, some of the lore around Mr. Leiper himself, Leiper and Hatch most definitely were likely friends, and they were never at odds with each other. They were friends to the end, because Mr. Leiper attended Hatch's funeral, because, again, Mr. Hatch was older than Mr. Leiper, and I believe died in the late 1920s or early 1930s. And, obviously Mr. Leiper didn't pass until 1960. But they were very much, in my opinion, they were very much friends and remained friends throughout the course of their lifetime. Is there anything you'd like to add to that little section before I move on?
No, I was just thinking of how How interesting that is, and I don't want to move on too quick because we're doing it in, you know what I'm saying, like a good rolling section. So I don't want to jump the gun. So just continue on.
Sure. So we're basically just getting into the man himself a little bit. We talked about his family, that he was an aristocratic guy. He was born with a silver spoon, per se. This guy didn't
Pretty
need any
much.
money. This guy did not need money.
No.
He was very wealthy. He was very well esteemed. He played professional baseball before there was Major League Baseball. He was a football player. He was an avid sportsman, avid hunter. And so, this guy decides with all of this that he wants to participate and wants to just focus on gamecocks. He found a fascination and a love with gamecocks. And then, as fate would have it, he meets Mr. Sanford Hatch, who had been competing, gamecocks for quite some time at that point. And so there is a story that, as far as I can conclude from research and history, that Mr. Hatch gave Leiper a farm in Huntington, up there in, I think it was New York. Let me just confirm. Pretty sure Huntington is in New York, but I could be wrong. It is. It's in Long Island, so I was correct. I don't want to try to give false information, and I
Right.
tried to take notes as much as I could, guys. Try to do my best, but hey, it is what it is, and we've got lots of notes, but it was a lot to take on. Like, behind the scenes, we have done a lot of research, and this was not easy. I'm very happy to present this, especially with the
Yes.
crowd we've got. And Jay Chili here did his homework, and he is well versed in this. We've had a great time doing it. So this is the part where we get to bring it to you, and it's just been awesome. So we're gonna keep it rolling.
Yeah, we're smoothing it over, guys, but there was a lot of articles and cramming in the, just cramming knowledge down just to be able to present it. So there's been a lot of research and weeding out and studying, and a lot of stuff went into this topic. And we appreciate the turnout and everybody that's interested in this. I mean, it's more than what we could ask for, and we're just happy to be able to present this man. And diving into this topic, I will say I did not know it was going to be this intriguing, and this man had this much of a full life. I mean, he done it all. He was worked in a law firm. He played professional baseball. He played football. He bought a farm. He hunted dogs, and then he gets into the game fowl. And it's just he had such a full life. It was so amazing just learning all of this stuff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's been really cool to learn this stuff, and of course, I like history, and so it wasn't too bad for me. There was a rumor, speculated that he may have gotten foul. I couldn't solidify this. I couldn't really find concrete evidence, but there was a rumor that he may have gotten foul from a racetrack owner named Mars Cassidy. They were really dark foul, and they were known for having a lot of bottom. So I couldn't really establish that. What I did establish for sure was that Mr. Leaper and Hatch, like I said, were really good friends. And what else beknownst, Mr. Hatch had some influence over his fowl, but he wasn't he didn't really breed his own fowl. He hired guys to be breeders, and Leaper and Hatch became friends, and for well over a decade, right around 12, 14 years, Mr. Leaper bred fowl
Bread.
for
Yep.
Hatch. He bred fowl for Mr. Sanford Hatch. It is well documented across multiple sources that Leaper bred fowl for Hatch. And so, it wasn't just that they knew each other, it wasn't even that they were involved. Leaper bred fowl for Hatch. So Hatch gave Leaper a farm, and Leaper bred for Hatch. Another fact, learning all of this, the early Sandy Hatch fowl, they were not green-legged. They were
No, sir.
mostly yellow-legged, with a little bit of, like, every now and then it would show, I don't even know what you call it, the brown red leg that will show up with like a little hue of yellow and white. You know what I'm talking about? Like the toes or a couple scales. They would
Yeah,
show
like the dirtier look, like a
right. They would show up like that. and that was documented. They'd be slate with that sort of like yellow hues here and there, and a toe would have little sections that would be yellow and so on and things like that. Tarpon is what Ironhide calls it. I think that might even actually be the technical term. So early on, again, and this was also something you could find, and it seems to hold true across multiple sources. Sanford Hatch's original hatch fowl that they were showing in the late 1800s and up 1900s, they were mostly yellow-legged. Also, Michael Kearney and his son Harry are documented, and I tried so hard to find one of the letters, and I couldn't do it. But Kearney himself said his white hackle fowl, and I didn't even know this, his white hackle fowl came pea-combed sometimes. They were not 100% straight comb. Michael and Michael's son Harry are both on record saying that his white hackle fowl and his Irish brown red fowl both would come pea-comb sometimes. That was something that blew my mind. I was certain they were 100% straight comb. The man himself that imported them on a boat said they were not. They had pea-comb in them. So I thought that was really
But the majority were straight combed, right? The majority were straight combed.
Yep, majority were straight combed. He bred them that way, and then obviously they didn't focus a lot on what the hands, were pea-comb or straight comb wise. It's a simple fact that they bred the best chickens to the best chickens, and so if they had a pea-combed hen, they didn't care. So
no. But
so I thought that was really cool.
So let's continue on.
So with that in mind, roll with it.
So with that in mind, let's get into this. Hold on, let me turn on my camera.
Sure.
I got it fixed now. I'm not in Venice anymore. We had some technical difficulties. So what were the hatches? We're getting into the Leiper side of it now. We're going to explain our side. Let's start rolling into that. So what were hatches? What made what we call a hatch, right? Hatch is a man. That's a last name. His name is Sandy Hatch. Mm-hmm. So we're finding out they're friends, okay? They're getting to know one another. They're kind of they're becoming buddies and almost a mentorship. And you can almost say that Sandy got him into chickens. So you would have to almost assume Sandy Hatch's influence went into Leiper's chickens, right? Mm-hmm. Well, what made Sandy Hatch's chickens? What were they? What was the original hatch?
They were primarily, and I say primarily, though the best I can find, they never deviated. They were Michael Kearney white hackle and brown red crosses. They were bred back to the brown red side. They were bred back to the white hackle side. They were constantly just being bred to one or the other. And they would obviously breed them into other crosses. They'd breed something to be 7/8, 1/8 to 3/4 quarter, whatever the case may be. They bred the best chickens to the best chickens. And for the longest time, that's, the way they were and the way they came. And so Sanford Hatch worked with those foundation lines forever. But there's chickens that Hatch had that no one has any idea of what their lineage or whatnot may have been, which is where the green legs came from later in the mixture.
But originally, the makeup was Sandy Hatch's primary fowl was the white hackle, and the brown reds he got from Michael Kearney. Was that his name? Michael Kearney?
Michael Kearney.
Michael Kearney, that's right. Kearney.
Yep.
They were Irish Pals and the white hackles. So that was original. So Leiper comes into the play. He's like, okay, they're becoming friends or whatever. Where did Leiper, this is where it starts getting interesting, guys. Where did Judge Leiper, Jack Leiper, whatever you want to call him, Where did he get his seed stock to start his Leiper fowl? Where would he have went?
He had
What
gotten
person?
he had gotten never they've never said a number. It's always been described as like a handful or whatnot, a fowl from a few folks throughout history. Sandy Hatch, Leiper worked with Kearney White Hackles and Kearney Brown Reds. He bred his yard. Like I said, Sanford Hatch had some expectations. He wanted to move things in a certain direction, and he was a hands-off breeder. He paid someone to do what he asked them to do and move the chickens in that particular direction. Leiper was that guy for over a decade. Leiper had his fowl on his yard that he bred his own way. The same seed stock made both fowl. Now, for the guys that are saying there's roundhead in there, blah, 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 you are correct. So we're not just stopping there, but you would be shocked at what particular color this supposed roundhead cock was. And this is also why certain Leiper fowl will be spangled today. Mr. Chili, what color was the cock that Mr. Leiper bred into his fowl?
Pumpkin.
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 The man bred a pea-combed, pumpkin-ish colored cock into the birds that he was working with that were crossed between the Kearney Brown Red and the Kearney White Hackle. It was said that this cock, even though it was pumpkin colored, they didn't say it was full-blown pumpkin. They said it was pumpkin-like, coloring. More of like a ginger gamefowl times. So that's a really good description. So they would say that these, fowl, and this happened to be, they said it was, Boston Roundhead. The fact that this cock, this is definitive. The color, you can throw it up for debate, what have you. It is widely considered that this cock was pumpkinish in color. It was a Duray cock. It was a Duray cock. That's where that blood came from. It was said to have been Boston Roundhead. So some of those Boston Roundheads would come spangled, and there's several of them that would be almost white.
Right. So is the Leiper hatch? Do you want to dive on into that, John? What we think, or do you want to wait a second?
We'll cap this off a little bit and give just a little more insight on Leiper himself. Like I said, Leiper was a handler. He handled many, many fowl for Mr. Hatch and many fowl for himself and fowl for other people. In fact, he matched into Mr. Lun Gilmore and let's see, Sanford Hatch at that time, Leiper was handling, for Hatch and himself at this particular event. It was a tournament at Orlando where he had told Marvin Anderson that Lun Gilmore, Sanford Hatch told Marvin Anderson Lun Gilmore had the best fowl of the dark breeding anywhere. That they did well anywhere they went. And with that, Leiper, using his fowl and such that were bred, Lun Gilmore did whip Leiper. The fight, when they matched in, lasted 6 hours and 10 minutes. I mean, that's almost unheard of.
In other words, neither one of them was cutting.
No, they probably weren't knocking down any buildings, but or they weren't cutting
Oh,
any
they were
weeds.
knocking down buildings.
They were moving buildings, but they weren't knocking down any weeds, you know. So
They had to bring their breakfast and lunch for that fight.
6 hours 10 minutes at a tournament in Orlando. Mr. Hatch himself telling someone that Lund Gilmore had the best dark bred fowl anywhere in the country, and Gilmore pulled it off, but it took 6 hours and 10 minutes. That is gameness.
That's gameness right there.
That's
And you know this was the
gameness.
short hill, right? So the short hill was from up north. And where did this take place, you said? Oh, this was down south. So
Yeah,
I wonder if it was the short hill.
this was down south, and both men, actually, um, this was it doesn't definitively say. Okay. The bout lasted 6 hours and 10 minutes. Both men strived on deep game fowl. And I guess they did 6 hours and 10 minutes. As did all of the long heel men in the South at the turn of the century until their deaths. So this may have been a long heel fight. It was likely short heels, but it doesn't
You know they
say
weren't
for
walking
sure.
I bet they were sore for a few days.
I'd say. So,
Oh, that's crazy. A
Leipers,
6 hour fight. Oh my goodness.
it's nuts. So Leiper himself, you discussed this earlier for us, and I really applaud you for doing it. You did a great job. He was an athlete. The man was a naturally gifted athlete. Did that play a role in the man's foul?
Listen, leapers were bred to have power, ability, gameness, cut. They were bred to have everything, if you think about it. They really were. Now, whether all of them do or not, absolutely not. But that's all breeders today. But I'm saying what the man was striving for was a well rounded athlete. And I believe, from what I can gather, all of the research, he was putting his own influence because he was a well-rounded athlete. Because the news media outlets, everybody, the local news, they would do newspapers and stuff. They would brag on him for just being they were just like, he's a natural athlete. You know, this guy could pitch, he could play football, he could do whatever he wanted to do. I believe that was his mindset in making the Leapers. He said, I want something that has it all. I want it to have power, gameness, cut, ability. And I believe he put his own, his own reflection of himself in on the making of this strain. I really, really do.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, because for the time period, this is what was mostly said and whatnot, and really carried on for generations after the man's death. That Leapers were well muscled, athletically bodied chickens. They would come both straight and pecan. The leg colors were mostly green, although hues such as yellow may come through from time to time. And in today's times, we'll see some blue legs in a lot of modern leaper families. But this is historically, guys. Upon their creation and their maintenance and whatnot in that time period, mostly green legs. Sometimes they would throw a hue, and there has been rumors that a few would actually be full yellow-legged. Never seen a document that would prove that one way or another, but that is part of gamefowl lore. Now, they would have both straight and peacocks. So they're mostly a peacock family, but they came both ways. Often very dark red in plumage, although they could come with a few different slight variations, including the spangled gene. Yeah, sir. And then their fighting ability, known for the day, and one more time, just for the disclaimer, we're talking about a time period in history, guys. We're talking about the early 1900s where the active sport of cockfighting was legal
History days.
and well accepted. So this was during an age of legal competition. The birds were known to be aggressive and relentless, to push forward with very strong striking and accurate abilities. They were also well known to be full of bottom, maintaining their power through the duration of competition and their strength. They were game, deep game, hard hitting fowl, much like a hatch chicken. Although what they were known for that hatches were not were the athletic bodies and the athletic abilities. They were known to be able to maneuver much better than the typical Hatch chickens shown by Hatch himself and Leiper during those time periods.
And why is that? So what influence what could he have put in there to give something more ability and more just agile, just all of this stuff. So we got 5. So let's go ahead and talk about what made up the Leapers and what we think about, is a Leaper a hatch. So you guys waited around and we thank you guys so much. So let's talk about that.
So the make of the Leapers for sure, with a few speculations for speculation of what may have been in there, may not, for sure, 100%. Irish, Kearney Brown Reds, and Kearney White Hackles. Both of those came from Mr. Sanford Hatch. They came direct from Mike Kearney. And then they used a pea-combed, lighter colored sort of cock from Duray. It was said to have been Boston Roundhead. And that's what initially made up the Leapers.
That's so. People say, is a Leaper a hatch? What made a hatch? A Kearney Brown Red and White Hackle cross. And then later on, they put something in there.
Yep.
What made a Leaper? A Kearney Brown Red and a White Hackle cross with Roundhead. So I'm not saying a Leaper's a hatch. I'm not saying it's not. But I'm saying a hatch is a White Hackle, a Brown Red with something else that made their legs green. A Leaper is a White Hackle, a Brown Red, and some kind of pumpkin cock. So they have a lot in common, okay?
A lot.
They really do. They have a lot in common because Hatch got him into chickens. That was his mentor, so to speak. He brought him into the sport of gamefowl. He taught him. He showed him how to breed. Leaper bred for him. Hatches and Leapers are their own different breed. I'm saying this, but the makeup and the lineage is very, very, very similar. Very similar. There's a few things in there that's different, but their genetics are widely the same from what we could research and find. Because we went into this with a blank slate. We didn't go into this topic, this research, leaning one way or another, no bias, clean slate. Let's just figure out and dig and see what we can find on this blood, see what we can find, and let's just come up to our conclusion. And this is what we found, and it was very cool. It was a very good project.
It was great. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Kimball Branch Farms said that Roundhead came from Kearney, who was fired from Duray's farm for breeding in yellow birchen. I never heard anything about that during my research. It'd be something I'd love to look into, and I may, because yellow birchen was certainly something that was on Duray's yard. And Duray's white hackle fowl, per se, that made the clarets was said to be birchen. So that'll be something for another day.
And Fred, Widowmaker, he was saying his were starting to come straight comb the more he line braid them, the tighter they got. That's from in my opinion, if you look, white hackles, straight comb, brown red, straight comb. The closer and tighter you get in genetics, you're going to start having things come out that's still in there. You see what I'm saying? So
the core, the bottom line, the core, the baseline for the Leiper fowl. Irish brown red cock over Kearney white hackle hen. They bred back to those sides for traits they liked, and to the Duray supposed roundhead cock, and back to the roundhead side, and so on throughout time to, hit the traits and qualities that Leiper as a breeder was looking for. So the age-old question is now on you, Mr. Chili. Is a Leiper a hatch?
Oh, you can't do me like that and put the spotlight on me there. We leave that open. We leave that open. What do you guys think now? Now that you know the history. Hatches, white hackles, brown reds, with some other breed added in. Leapers, white hackles, brown reds with the round head. So what do you guys think?
The chat is grilling you. They say, no, you have got to give an answer. I will.
Leapers have more hatch than what people give them credit for. Leapers, for me, lean more towards the hatch side. Going into this, let me say this. I would have said definite no, they're not even similar. They're their own thing. After researching and looking this up, they have a lot more hatch than what people give them credit for. Whether they're hatches or not, that's up to you. But they're heavy on the hatch side. They are heavy on the hatch side, guys, because the makeup is the same. Both men added one more different bloodline or so. It could have been more, but most of them just put one extra influence in there and they went their own ways. But you can't say that they're not that closely related when they have two very strong bloods in there that they share. So that's my opinion, guys. They lean more towards the hatch side for me. And there I said it.
Right. So that's a great opinion. And see, this is the great thing about it, guys, because seriously, there is no wrong answer. That he is right about trying to leave it open for speculation, because that's what it boils down to. For us and there is no definitive example. It's really open to you and your interpretation. He went for it. Me. I'm gonna take my shot now. All right. We're going to move the man down just a little bit. Leave his face there on the screen. So, we said that Sanford Hatch's original hatch fowl were mostly yellow-legged. Guys, it's funny because, like I said, he died in the late 1920s or early 1930s. People started calling Leipers Leiper hatch in like 1940s, the 1950s, and Leiper retired from gamefowl in the late or mid 1940s, so he was out of it, and they were calling him Leiper hatch. And Sanford Hatch's chickens didn't turn green-legged until around the mid 30s. So they weren't known for that initially, and green legs came later, and I'm pretty certain after the man died. I'm not positive about that, but I'm almost certain the green legs came after the man died. So, hatch fowl. Are Leipers a hatch chicken? For me, Leipers hatch fowl from the day, back in the day, are more Leiper than they are hatch. Judge that Leiper himself bred for hatch for over a decade. So he put his influence on Hatch's farm and Hatch's chickens. Now, he did have some credentials to abide by, but he bred his own fowl using the same seed stock and whatnot, his way, and bred for different qualities and traits and things, and obviously added the supposed roundhead cock. So, are they hatch chickens? Yes and no. I mean, they use They use the same building blocks, so they are more similar, at least at creation. Today, they're, it's all open for speculation. But during the time period, they are very, very similar. And if you're using the same bricks for the first 7 or 8 layers to build the foundation, and then one guy keeps going with the same ones and the other guy switches to a different one, that foundation's still the same. So
Facts.
So yes, they are, and no, they're not. More so for me, I'm gonna give it definitive. So for me, they are much closer to a hatch chicken than I initially thought. So
Yeah. We
yes,
went into
they're
this open minded, blank slate, whatever. But yeah,
yes indeed,
what do you
yes
guys think
indeed.
now? Because we gave you guys the rundown. We told you everything that we could learn, everything we could scrape up and find. Has anybody changed their mind? What do you guys think now? Is a leaper a hatch? Now that you know the history, because we shared it with you, and that was our sole intent was to give a report of how we felt about it.
That's right. That's right. And we did our best, of course, to try to dig this stuff up, guys. Dig up the history on the man himself. Finding the baseball stuff. That was kind of cool. Never knew the man was an athlete. And of course, gamefowl lore is kind of spread, and it's you gotta try to find multiple sources that will corroborate a story, and so that also takes time and is a little difficult to do. Chris
Yeah, there was a
Penguin,
lot of work that went into this.
Chris
There was a lot of work.
Penguin, he said yes, but a little different than the original Leapers. I agree.
Right.
RJ said I knew they were a hatch chicken. Appreciate you, Garrett. Garrett said, good job, fellers. Trigger says he gave the correct answer. Fred said he didn't have an opinion, but now, after watching, he would say that they are hatch chickens. Walter Kelso owned a baseball team. That's a fun fact there, Nate. I remember reading something about him in baseball, but it's been 5 years ago or so since I read that. So I couldn't give an accurate description on any part of that. So that's a pretty cool little fun fact. Leapers don't show like a hatch. That is my take, says Kimball Ranch Farm.
That's that
Appreciate
roundhead influence, brother. That's that roundhead influence.
Leaper is an infused hatch. I mean, essentially, yeah, pretty
That's what
much.
it boils down to. Yeah.
Pretty much. That's what it is. It's basically the same foundation of a hatch chicken that was taken a different direction, and another influence put it in them. Yes,
It's
the
like he done
roundhead.
this. It's like he done this. He took a hatch chicken from Sandy Hatch and he said, "How can I give this more ability? How can I give this solid base blood that we call a hatch? How can I give it something that an athlete would have? I want it to have it all." So he took that base blood and he infused that with it, and he was like, "Okay, let's rock on with it." So like Banshee said, perfect example was the foundation of the building. The foundation's there, but they took it in two different directions. But at the end of the day, the foundation still stands. It's
Widowmaker
in their
says
genetic makeup.
Widowmaker says, describe to me a hatchcock, please. If you're talking about Sanford Hatch's original hatch fowl, they were known for being like lower stationed, really big body, mid 5 pound, sometimes 6 pound roosters. They were usually darker red in plumage, black breasted, sort of shorter legged chickens. They weren't really short legged, but lower station, shorter legged chickens. Big broad backs. They weren't known for breaking. They were known for having a lot of power and being
Hitting
really,
hard, slower,
yeah,
not a lot of ability.
really, really, really game chickens that would take you to the drag and smash you. That's what they were known for. That's what they were bred for. And to be honest, like they up there in New York and whatnot, where they did all that, and when they bred them that way, they did really well on the Northeast. And when they went south, they did decent. They didn't do great, but they did really well. And for Northeast, though, the hatch fowl from Sanford dominated, and Leiper was part of that success. So that's a really cool story. But today, Mr. Widowmaker, you're right. Most of your hatch chickens today are going to be red, whether it be lighter red, dark red, green leg, deep red eyes. Some of them have the eyeliner, some of them don't, and they're usually known for having power and being game. So that's your hatch fowl. They carried some of those characteristics from their creation up to modern day. So guys still expect hatch chickens to be really game, and they still expect hatch chickens to maintain power and have bottom. Leiper created the hatch line for Sanford. He had a big influence in it for over a decade. Big influence. So what's the difference between a Leiper and a Penny? I honestly don't know. I would literally have to research Cheryl Penny and his fowl to be able to make an accurate comparison. I'll give you the correct answer. Are they called Leiper or a Leiper hatch? Depends on who you talk to. And that's what always sparks the debate. They're not a hatch chicken! All right then, feller, calm down. But anyway, at the end of the day, yes, Leiper used the same fowl, the same foundations as Sanford Hatch. But like Mr. Chili alluded to earlier, Leiper used his athletic background and athletic prowess to want something a little more and a little different, and apparently that roundhead influence gave them that ability to maneuver and be more athletic and to be something other than just your Sanford Hatch fowl of the day. So he gave
Gave them
them,
that pea comb. Yeah, it gave them the pea comb. It gave them that ability. That's why, back in the legal days, they were flying. They were leapers. Always had more ability, I noticed, than other chickens. And you can tell, you can see that influence of Judge Leaper. Him saying, I'm an athlete. I want my birds to be athletes. I want them to have everything. And good leapers, you can see that today. They were almost bred to try to have everything. And that's just something he did. The dark eyes came from the brown red. Um, the pea comb come from the round head. Um, and you can just kind of look and see, when they started off with the same base. But when we started researching this and we looked into it, I said that makes a lot of sense. Him adding that round head because he was showing Sandy Hatch's chickens, and I can just imagine him thinking, I can get more out of these. I can turn these into something that they're not. So he took them in that direction with Sandy Hatch's chickens. So I don't know. I think they lean more towards a hatch. I really do. I mean, I think they started off with the same blood, but that roundhead made a huge influence. It really did. It gave them what we call leapers today, all that athleticism. I think that roundhead put a lot of that in there.
yes, sir, I would be inclined to agree very much. And so before we end the show here, I'm going to pull up the headstone for Mr. Leiper himself that's up there in Pennsylvania. And let's see, I'm going to trim it a little bit so you guys can get an accurate view of it here. This is Mr. Leiper's headstone up there in Pennsylvania. The man born 1867 and died August 23rd, 1960.
This was such an interesting topic. I really enjoyed this. I'm not going to lie. This was amazing. I didn't know his life was as just, I don't know. He just lived a full life, and it was just as interesting for me to learn as it was to see what he was doing. I've been an athlete, I've been a judge, I bred hunting dogs, and now I made a game fowl that will be remembered probably until the end of time. So he lived a full life.
The man certainly really enjoyed himself. Like his he stepped outside of the norm because he was born into a very prestigious family. He didn't have to do anything. Very wealthy man chose to walk away from the money and just pursue game fowl. I mean, he didn't walk away from the money. He was wealthy, but he didn't need, he didn't need anything. He just went to game fowl, and I thought that was something that was pretty cool and pretty special. So pretty cool to learn a little bit more about the man than the typical stories and things that you hear, and find a little bit of history about him. Who's the next Breeders' Showcase? We don't know yet, but we're certainly going to do more of these. Absolutely. Because we had a great time doing this one.
Oh, this one was fun. Even the research was fun. So, yeah, we enjoy it, guys. You let us know who you want to hear about, and we'll have another full blown show just like this, and we'll do our research and bring it forth to the gamefowl community and let you guys enjoy yourselves and watch us. So keep tuning in and keep watching us because we do it. We just do it for fun. This is our passion, and this is what we love to do.
That's it.
So,
We're
you guys let
proud.
us know what you want to hear.
We're proud to be able to, have this moment and, take a little bit of our time on Sunday evenings every couple weeks and bring you a show where we can come together as gamefowl enthusiasts, chicken people, and fellowship a little bit, have a good time, talk about things, learn a few things, and just enjoy what we all like to do and continue on a little bit of heritage along the way.
Right, guys. So, let us know, through comments and things like that, who you want us to talk about next, which breeds, what topics, not just breeds, what topics you want to hear, guys. And we're going to cover a lot this year. So it's just now getting March. This year, I think, is going to be, Lord willing now, it's going to be a good year for the Chicken Chatter channel. Share the channel, guys. Let people know we do the show because we just do it for fun. We don't get paid anything like that. We love bringing forth a show that everybody can enjoy, and it's just our passion. So share it with people and let them know every other Sunday at 8 p.m. we go live and we have interesting shows.
Yes, we do. We certainly do, and we got a great following so far. And you guys showing up here, interacting with us, and everything, it certainly makes it all worthwhile, and it makes what we're doing. It drives us to keep doing what we're doing. So without you guys, it's not possible. We appreciate all the support. Gamefowl Times, the ebook. Thanks for the little note there in the comments. Those that are interested can message me about it. I'm not going to really plug it right now on this platform because this was all meant to be in memorial and history of Mr. John H.T. Leiper, and it's certainly been a fantastic live. We really appreciate all of you from the bottom of our hearts. Everything, it's been great. It really, really has. With that, the night is over. We got to prepare for normal routine throughout the week. I hope everything is well with you guys. I will pray us out of here unless you would like to do that, Mr. Chili.
Take it away.
All right. So for the folks that are interested in such, you can stick around for this. Everyone else, if you take off, go to bed, whatever, not a problem. I know this is not for everyone, but nonetheless, again, one more time, we appreciate each and every one of you. So, that being said, if you'll join us for a minute in a word of prayer and some benediction, we'll close out the night on that. So, Father God in heaven, we certainly appreciate everything, all the blessings that are bestowed upon us to be able to navigate this show and have a really good camaraderie with the gamefowl community and the overall chicken community here on TikTok, in the U.S. and maybe even throughout the world. We appreciate each and every one of these folks that tune in to hear what we've got to say. Lord bless Jay Chili and his family down there. Watch over them, take care of them, the same as you will all of our viewers. Bless them in everything that they do. Give them good times within their families and everything. We certainly appreciate everything. We appreciate the good and the bad. We know it's all by your divine hand. And one more time, just taking the time to say thank you for everything that you do for us. We really recognize it and hope to continue receiving such love and such blessings. And all these things we pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Yes, sir. Amen and amen. Alrighty, fellas, we had a great show. Loved it. Let us know the other topics, guys, what you want to hear, and we'll do our best to get on that.
Drop them in the comments on our videos. We'll be making upcoming promos and stuff. And yeah, give us a shout. Let us know what you want us to do some topics on, and we'll keep this thing going. And Everybody take care of yourselves. You have a good week. Chili, take care. Have a good evening. We'll see all you guys later.
Appreciate y'all. Peace out, guys.
Thank you.